If you're against planning and thinking ahead because you think it's kind of a diety thing to do, you're not alone. Today we're going to talk about how you can use today to create a better tomorrow for yourself in how you eat, how you think and feel, and how you take care of yourself. You are listening to Weight Loss Made Real, and this is episode 251. I'm your host, Master Weight Loss Coach and author, Cookie Rosenblum. Today and every Tuesday, I am here to be your coach and your guide to help you end your emotional eating and, yes, lose that extra weight. If you just found me, welcome. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. Here is where we talk about your habit of emotional eating, which is the main focus of all the work I do. This is where coaching meets psychology and psychology meets brain science. And this is where your problem ends. So I want you to get comfy and get ready to be coached. And just in case you're a new listener, I want to remind you that this episode of Weight Loss Made Real, as always, is brought to you by the Freedom Group. These podcasts are created by me for you to share new concepts with you, new ideas to think about, to help you understand why you do what you do. There is also a free Facebook group with the same name as this podcast, Weight Loss Made Real, and that's a group that you can join that will help you be with others who will discuss these podcasts and get a little bit of input from me and my team. And finally, there's the Freedom Group, where real change takes place with me as your coach. It's a monthly membership for smart women just like you who are ready to stop overeating from stress and habit and learn how to make space for happiness in their life. You can learn more about the Freedom Group in the show notes or go to weightlossmadereal.com/group to get on the wait list for the next time we are open for enrollment. All right, let's get started with your coaching session. Today, we're working on what you need to do today to help yourself create a good tomorrow. So the first thing I want you to think about is how your days go in general. Do you feel in control most of the time, or do you feel out of control? Do you know what you're going to eat approximately, or is it just whatever's around or whatever's offered to you? Do you know how to anticipate your day, what's coming up for you and when and with who? Or is it whom? Or does it all seem to come at you at once? Do you feel like you cross your fingers and hope that you have a good eating day? Or do you know how to create a good eating day? And I'm wondering if you think it's all about luck. Do you think that women who eat well with foods that are mostly helpful and love them back are smarter than you? Or they know some secret that you don't know? Or is it that you think they're just luckier than you? Or maybe it's just a big mystery, right? Of what's the difference between you and those special women? So that's all about what you eat. What about your mood? Are you assuming that if you're in a good mood, you can handle your food and eating with ease? But if you're in a bad mood, watch out, because everything you had planned is up for grabs. So again, you might think that and think, okay, out of my control. And you may not know where your moods are coming from, what creates them. So again, you might think that being in a peaceful mood in order to eat well is just the luck of the draw. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, and who knows why. You also might think that your goal is to be happy and feeling great all the time, so that when you're not, you slip down to the darkest mood, you give up, you think life is just not fair for you, and you may as well eat. Is that a familiar scenario for you? All right, what about self-care? So many of my Freedom Group members, especially when they first come in, think that either self-care has nothing to do with weight loss or It sounds good, but it's something you don't deserve right now while you're struggling, and you'll get to it down the road after you lose your weight. Or number 3, who's got time for an extra thing like self-care? Certainly not you. Am I reading that right? So what makes for a good day, and what makes a day that feels at loose ends, out of control? I want you to think about a good day and what you'd consider a bad day in relation to your eating. And think about all the factors I just mentioned, which ones you identify with. So if you're sitting down somewhere, not driving, you might want to jot down right now, if you're able to, what are the factors that affect your eating and make a day feel good or bad to you? All right, so then what really does make a day go well? Kind of a big combination, and it's less about what happens than you think. It's what you do or don't do, and what you do or don't do come from how you think and from what your mood is like. And it's how and even whether you're taking care of yourself at all, both on what you'd consider a good day and what you'd consider a challenging day. Those are the elements of those days. Imagine that your day's just humming along and you're feeling in the flow and everything feels right with the world and you're grateful just to be alive. On what you'd consider a good day, it's really not what's happening. It's really about what you're thinking and feeling. What makes a day go well and qualify to be a good day is a perspective. Now, of course, we all have a vision of that ideal day that we'd love to live through probably every day, right? But remember that life is a third, a third, and a third. A third up, a third neutral, a third down. So given that you're human and life is not all happiness and rainbows, you're going to experience all kinds of things, and you get to decide how you roll with them. So if you need to expect that your days are not going to be 100% lovely, what does make a day not go well? Let's contrast that easy day with a day that doesn't feel so good. If you have given no thought to your day ahead of time, so many things that you might need won't be taken care of. And how you eat can easily be one of those things that you're not thinking about ahead of time. Maybe you're an emotional eater and you're grabbing things to eat to distract you from an internal struggle. And when you do this, I know you think it makes you feel better, but you have to remember that it only very temporarily makes you feel better. So in this case, not knowing how to manage yourself leads to a not so great eating day. Maybe you think that you're overeating because you deserve something since your day's not so great. In this case, you're trying to help yourself, but you're putting the wrong puzzle piece into the puzzle. You do deserve something that just feels good. You don't have to earn self-care. But if you give yourself care in the form of food that you don't need physically, it's not really care. It's contributing to your overeating problem. Is your eating less than ideal? That's the question. So what I'm saying here is that it's not what's happening, it's more what you're telling yourself about what's happening that leads to the way you eat. It's about what you think, it's about how you feel emotionally, and about whether you have coping skills so that you don't go to the candy bar and the chips to solve the problem of getting through your day. So there are thoughts and moods that affect your eating. Yep. Then there are some circumstances relating to your eating that make for a more challenging day. And the first question I want you to ask yourself is, do you have food available? Do you have what you need in order to be able to eat when you're physically hungry? Or are you rebelling against even thinking about that because it's boring? Or you're saying, I just don't want to think about food so much. but then you don't have what you need when you need it. Maybe you were faced with unplanned eating opportunities that you just have no plan for. And while you can't plan for what other people will do and how often you're faced with eating opportunities, you definitely can have a plan B to deal with these situations. Because when you have that plan B, there is no problem. And then there is no stress. Are you eating when you feel stress, when you're not hungry? Whether you feel stress or happiness or frustration or boredom, or just feeling depleted at the end of the day, if that's when you're eating, this means that you're at the mercy of all your thoughts and feelings with no way to rise above and see what's happening and how you're thinking about it. And then we come to the question of self-care. Is there any self-care in your day? Are you waiting for the fantasy of a blank space in your calendar? And does that blank space never show up? Are you running from putting out fire after fire? When you're depleted and mentally exhausted, you have a slim chance of managing yourself and your day and creating a nice, peaceful day where you do what you say you'll do and you eat the way you say you'll eat, not without some thinking things through ahead of time. So what do you need to do today to create a good tomorrow? The biggest thing you need to do is think ahead. You should think ahead in the categories of eating, thinking, and loving yourself, because you'd have such a better chance of creating a good day. When you do that, you're empowered, you know yourself. You can envision what might come up for you, even if it's not exact, and how you'll deal with it. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to have a crystal ball to see into your future. Nobody does. But it means that you'll have a general plan B that you can use to care for yourself. And that plan B is going to determine how you'll eat in general, how you'll take care of your moods in general, how you'll care for yourself in general, even if you don't know the specifics. And this requires thinking ahead. When you think today about how you want tomorrow to go, then you're not at the mercy of all the other people and events that are in your orbit, sitting there with your fingers crossed, hoping that they're going to go well. You're in charge of you, even when you don't know the exact details of what is coming at you. So how can you increase your chances of creating a better tomorrow? By having a tomorrow vision. And that does not mean a perfect day or week or life. It means within the reality of your life, you think ahead about what you can anticipate. And within that reality, what would you wish to happen? How can you make that happen? And what's your backup plan? And you think about this in relation to how you'll eat and to how you'll manage yourself if you do get into a bad mood or begin to feel stressed. And it also is in relation to how you'll deal with that feeling, physical or mental, of being depleted. Now, as I talk about what you need to do today to create a good tomorrow, you might be rebelling against doing this thinking ahead. You might think, this is going to take time. I don't have time. When you want something that's valuable to you, like reaching a goal or having a good day or changing the way you eat, yes, it does take time. It doesn't have to take a ton of time, but yes, life requires you to pay a price to get the things that you want. And if you don't want to put any time into thinking ahead, my friend, I have to say, you are arguing with reality. It's like that child stamping their feet and saying, I don't care. I want it now, and I don't want to do the work. Just give it to me. You might be thinking, this sounds hard. It's too hard. It's not fun. But when you really, really want something, putting time into it to break it down into tiny steps is the way to go. You take the hard and you break it down again and again and again until your next step is so easy that there's no excuse, no reason you can't do it. It's only hard when you either try to take too big of a chunk at once or you just don't ask for help. You might rebel against thinking today to create a good tomorrow because you want to be spontaneous, right? And you think, I just want to be free. I'm not a planner. I can't plan for everything. And to you, I will ask this question. How is that working for you? You can be as free as the wind, but not living the quality of life that you wish for. You may be exhausted from trying every day to have a good day, but not doing the thing you need to do to create that good day. And what will that create for you? Frustration. It's time to make peace with knowing that you need to think ahead to create what you want without resenting doing it. So what happens when you do use eat and think and love as a way of planning ahead to create the kind of day that you want? You feel good right now because you're taking care of you better than anyone in the world can right now because you are worth it. And feeling worthy now feels so good that you're likely to do many things right for yourself now and get better results now. And that leads to a better chance of getting what you want, creating a good day in how you eat and think and take care of yourself. When you know how to create a good day and deal with life's inevitable challenges, you will feel empowered. And that feels great because you know that you're in charge of you no matter what happens. You always get to choose what you do. You always get to choose how you think. And you always know, or you should know, that what goes in your mouth is your choice. It's just a skill that you may either need to learn or you may need to practice and strengthen. So this coming week, I want you to take one day, maybe a weekend day, and think about the coming week. Choose one day to focus on and imagine how you'd like it to go. Okay, so you have the ideal, right? You have the vision, but then imagine that you run into some unknown roadblocks. Think of a plan B. What will you do when it doesn't go according to plan? By doing this, you're going to set yourself up for a good day, particularly in how you'll eat, how you'll care for yourself, and how you might manage your moods, even when your day is not perfect, even when your day does not go according to plan. You can do this. Okay, my friend, you know what you're going to focus on and think about this coming week, one little thing at a time. I want to make sure you know that if you're listening in real time, I am still offering a free downloadable copy of my book, Clearing Your Path to Permanent Weight Loss. This will help you see why you have the eating issue in the first place and what to do about it, so that you don't just lose weight and you don't just change how you eat, but the ultimate, you're able to lose the whole problem. Take a look at the show notes and be sure to get on my email list so I can send you the full downloadable copy of the book and you can begin to tackle this. The link is weightlossmadereal.com/book. I hope to see you back here next week where we will continue to work on your emotional eating and that habitual overeating step by step until they both become something that you used to do. We know that's your ultimate goal. So for now, this is your Coach Cookie reminding you that as you search for answers, keep it real just like you. And I will see you next week.